감성 코르발라 로토고래 감성 코르발라 로 마도나 디비오마 텔라테니 감보티 로도 남바시스 띵에 버토 삼모기 땅을
First of all, please motivate yourself with the wish to attain enlightenment for the benefit of countless sentient beings, our mothers, as infinite in number as the sky is vast. When listening to this teaching, and the teaching today is about how to practice the Dharma. And first of all, in order to be able to practice the Dharma, our intentions, our will, need to turn away from samsaric aims. And in order to be able to turn away from samsaric aims towards Dharma practice, there are 4 reflections called the 4 mind changings that Rinpoche says are definitely necessary to integrate. So reflect on these.
당고 미 공도 주안나신기 로도 남바시라 삼로야 고지 땅투는 이 주의지하라 펜토그레스 강아레스는 다 당고 쪽 단결이 바르까고 이 치와 메달까 이 레주니 이 코르웨이님이 디시로레스 티 마라소 달바지에다 주바 끄다 때문에 밀루르 톱 가와래 디나네 드는 자지 유주 때문에 밀려든 거지 신도 이니 공부 이나야 다리 값을 받았던 나라서 리테야 고지가 제네 밀려든 거지 딱 자지 유주 때문에 밀려든 톱이래 이 밀려지 토라 만로가 제네 담배 취향 가빠지 제tum나 이니 대표에서 편도 친구 요래서 아래서는 단결 예벌가와티 백깔에 가고 인순다 방금 방발을 줬다. 남아무고 그때 까나요. 안되겠으나 다 다와 제단 결과 있거든 되면 밀려는 게 톱가와. 같이 빼샤나서 양조 최신 야진기 부가 루벌 민주다스. 다 빼샤나 양조 첨부나나 이제 루바미 롱아지 유나 다 되게 미야고 통통 말해서 되니 거기 루벌 때 가지고 게 잡되게 되니 신 이제 무부 요조 때라더니 고디야 추투와티 코피 메도 메칼리 용거래 똥 추무무 뭐 이제 지나 되니 야 고추투 말에 때 타마티 되니 고추투 버리스 대 남신께 나라서 유대인이 빼 톱깔레하고도 톱 살발라 때니 뒤뒤 토라 마로와 제니 담배 교양하고 제공도 이 달지 여기 때문에 밀루는 거 제송을 생내나서 밀루 토바tam 게 팽이면 담배 교양 가봐도 제공도
Please think about thoroughly again and again these 4 mind changings. They're definitely, absolutely necessary. In order to be able to practice, we need to reflect upon preciousness of this human body, impermanence and death, cause and consequence of karmic actions, and the defects of samsaric existence. And among these 4, the first of these is the precious human life which we have now. It is caused by, it consists of the 8 freedoms and 10 riches, which is a circumstance that is extremely difficult to obtain. Very, very difficult. And Arya Nagarjuna and many other great masters has given various examples, metaphors to understand how rare it is to become a human who can practice the Dharma. Not just a human. And one example is this. Imagine the great ocean where there is no land anywhere, and there's a ring of wood floating around on the big ocean, tossed about by the waves. And there's a turtle who is blind and comes up, sticks its head up once every 100 years. Blind turtle. The chance for the turtle to get its head through that ring while being blind is as difficult as it is to become a human being who can practice the Dharma. It may try 1,000 times, 10,000, 100,000 times, or much, much more. And when it finally succeeds, that is the situation we are in now. We have become a human being, we have the physical support of a human body, and at the same time we are also able to practice the Dharma. So in order to treasure this preciousness of the human life, the thought to get out of this, the will, is I will not waste this life. I will not waste this life. I will practice the sacred Dharma. And that is the result of reflecting on preciousness of the human body. It is not enough to this one time being reborn in a precious human body. It's not enough. Please make use of it in the most valuable way. Practice the sacred Dharma teachings. And the way to do so is to connect with a true spiritual master. And again and again receive teachings and begin with the mudra, the 4 or 5 times 100,000 preliminaries. And after these, go in retreat, practice the 3 roots, the recitation and the approach and accomplishment, mantra recitation, and so forth. Go step by step. But in order to understand how to practice in retreat, we need to first hear teachings, listen repeatedly to a lot of teachings from authentic masters, and then think them through so that we can become certain. It is through listening and thinking the teaching through that we can cut through the web of doubt and uncertainty and have the confidence of knowing how to practice when in retreat. That is really, really important. So first listen to clear away doubt, think them through to gain certainty, then practice them in order to integrate completely.
다 당보 단결이 예바가 두섬이야 보이시는 이빠데 치와 메다빠서 다 나랑서 제찬니 마시케 수직 그레 말이 디인주 따티 치와티 빼 메닥바티 다 내가 친구를 보내 내가 친구지 samutangurese teshana yangondodo taiki lama yangonama sungurese tada jikji nitu parorodo ranya nyuwara nyeto chigweja yuring dodab jebi nyingro lama cheno tuji yoto sese tada jikji nitu se jiki wala jiki tene chene tsepelo yorese ranya nyuwara nyeto chigweja ta ngaran yogo shido woyina 대삼로 마당 와지네 유릉부지 다른 세릉부지 대원 삼는 근데 삼로 땅 되니 강바들을 땜고 잡 뭐뭐싹 근데 제대로 닝루가 나히레스 유릉 도답 체베 닝루도 라마체는 투지교도 세스 영고로도 다이기 다 단다 라마 영고는 소문나지 당나라수 메타파티 다 소소랑게 르고라 lep차나 Tsikyi wala Tsikyi tene shidoyore ta te sama makorwa chene chik tse rinpo yung de tene pe mesi te trending yore te matensi ta ngaranso tamchi chik wala chikdo yu rinpo de mo sambate samlo makorse te korna ti ning rupo sene ning ruwa na hirese yung rodo tayi lama yung na sumyore te takdore tene 저기 메닥바지 전남바 삼로야고 코로나 이니 표체야가 싫어 kurma치고 인그레스 안에서는 메닥바지 삼로마다나 야다 남치웅 남레웅 티단다 남사 한마고나 다 유릉부지 체내용 다 유릉부지 간레메요 삼 이제 텐티우데 깨워오면 내다고도 세스로 남기다 나살라소 같은 데 지내야 로우도 라소 같아야 네 나살라소 원래 메신도 지내도야 지내 마음이 용거 티치와 메닥바데 트레이닝 딱 표현량네 세모타야 되니다 곰핑고는 신의 방통 마음문다 조바치고다 강공부에 제주 섬로 약보다는 약고 따뜻나 연재 공부에 노래스
When we decide to use our life in this way, this life would become an authentic path of Dharma practice. The next of the four reflections is to think about the impermanence and immortality of all of us. The great master Lodotai, also known as Jamgon Control, in one of his songs of poetry called Calling the Guru from Afar, he says that everyone is dying one after another, like standing in line, and the next one falls off, and the next one, and the next one. We see this, but we don't seem to notice that we are standing in that same line. And rather than accepting that we will die, we make one plan after another. First, I'll build a stable, nice house. Then I'll collect a lot of money for my pension. Then I'll do this and that. We have the expectation, like we take it as a given. We take it as a given that I will be here for a long time and have chance to enjoy, and then I can practice at some other point. Isn't that true? It's like we don't even question that whether it's possible or not. And Jamgon Control said it is like being spoiled, rotten from the inside, like as if one's heart is rotting. He uses those words, and that is we are totally out of tune with reality, because how long a life is totally dependent upon our karma from the past. But not only that, there are also something that can happen all of a sudden. We can be struck by an illness, like out of the blue. We don't really know. Right now, who has the certainty about how many days there are left, how many years are left in this life? We really don't know. So therefore, it would be much, much better to decide to practice immediately. Practice what you can, no matter which level, Mundro, Shamatha, Vipassana, and then go through to Mahamudra or to Tokchen and so forth. In other words, don't postpone your practice to a later point. We don't know how long we live.
Ni tanda pondu shuwa na chingi. Metakpa de pe nenga chimori, te yin kana chena ba tamji ki zo de metakpa de samno ya kuju koptu na tambi chugi kurma no yungu yoris. Kane se na nyama ngimata lama mungu ki tok denda wata samye du mungu nang dinge tamzu sam hyuge kapsula. Ni yigi tini chiwa yung Rupala Yabo Jones, Niki Yigitini, Namtak Tinana Suna, Yashaki Yoris, Chichua Yogo Yunguri, Tatelete, Rupanyamenti, the Yapochis, Yigimongo Yashawa, the Namtan Yori, Tinanjingi, Metak Party, Anasu Pondushuana Hingi, Chiwati, Metak Party, Nagachimu Imbate, Suzoranki, Samoya, Kortuna, Tini, Tambi Chula Pe, Mese, cancer give Kurma Chimu to your race, that and the Pondushuana in that Metapata to somewhere to Kortuna in Chula Pe Kurmata, Dilla Teni, Tambi Chuti Machena, Shen Kaya, Chia Mindu, that Naraso Tambi Chuyang Papa Group, Yamne Yapo Machena, Lamdosa Kaya Mindu some make now you. It
is very, very helpful to pay attention to the fact that we do die. Everything is impermanent. It is like an inspiration, like a spur that will push us forward to actually practice. And when you look at the life stories of many of the former practitioners, how they applied themselves to Dharma practice, there are many of them who would write and notice to themselves, like a letter to themselves, and paste it on the wall of inside their retreat hut. And one message is, you will die. Death is coming. Practice the best you can. And then you will see it every time they look, they see that message. And it is very, very useful, because otherwise the days did disappear, and so Rinpoche says, please don't forget that we die. Use it as an inspiration so that you can make valuable use of this precious life.
lokhebuji yores. Anesene Tsikey Chokling Rinpoche Rinpoche Tamjiki Songshabeki Lejude Singiki Yus Lejude Mewa Tsani Mari Sung Duku Tiju Mongo Nala Sari Tena Shingi Lejude Lungi Porto Yore Tela Tosambia Poti Shetuna Ambe Chutubella Kulmayang Yantabo Yores Lejude Mewa Mari Lejude Oni Yores Hindu Kajigeta Gewad Yomar, Pipa Yomar, Le, Jude Yomar, Kana Yomar, Singing, Mongo Yugi, that picture, Missing Gita, Chula came in the Ketafe, Tangaranso, Chula, Yiji, Chu Yamle, Chu Lam, Shu Sawatella, Nebarto, Le Judetilla, Kene and Tapo Chipu, Harrisona, Le Judet, Yamani, Tsikey Chokling the Guru Rinpoche, Shalshubi Kapsulani, on a begin. Lake Namsha, Manguji Sunores, Telatene Tandapa Lamten Yore Mato, Mikaji today, Sat Tomshavat Mares, and Tamji to the teaching of some of
The third point to remind ourselves again and again is that actions have consequences. What we do does matter. And nowadays, there are many people who say it doesn't matter. Good or evil really makes no difference. When we die, everything is over, there's nothing after. It's a very popular point of view, which is very hopeful, but it's not like that at all. And for us who have entered the path of the Buddha's teachings, we should not have that kind of idea. So throw it away. It really does matter. The Buddha taught that our actions have consequences, and so did Dharmas of Gampopa and all the other masters. If you want to know what you have done in the past, look at your present body and situation. At your present body and situation. And if you want to know what will happen to you in the future, look at what you do right now, your present actions. So, if it has happened that we have entered the path of enlightenment, entered the path of the Buddha's teachings and Dharmas of Gampopa's teachings, we should absolutely trust in the consequences of our actions. The law of karma. It is not just a blind belief. It is really so that it does matter. It does matter, so we should be very careful about what we do and so forth. And being careful in this way becomes an encouragement, even more than before, to practice in a real, true, genuine way.
Hindu, tal, Lejude Tila, Yishetan, Lejude Tila Naranzo, Yishetemuji, Nabarto Yore, Titi Hindu, Tita Bichuna, Sumba Nanjinki, Radio Yore Mato, Tita Matumba Mare, Sumbare, Titi Hindu, Nabarto She, Tal, Rangjung Yeshe Gomde Denmark, Lejude, Korwa Yemix, Tal comes in Korwa, Roa Rip Tuxi. What regular you not so Mongolia. And then listen, Mela Ga Na cheese. We gave it to one, we gave it to one, didn't know it to one, didn't chew it to one, Mela Ga Na cheese. Tintina she salad, chipotung to one. Tene Yawala Satanga to one. Idala, Tekon to one. Tunduna, Ningu to one. Tene Tamain Tapsu, Salad, Marasuina, Tapi. Dewa Chimboyo, Sayu, Tamain, Tapsu, Tina, Yawala, Sadam, Nitina, Milatin, Jaganachi, Tundula, Ningu Duman, Idala, Tekum, Yawala, Sadam, Tine, Goa Rip to Potilla, Duman Manguji, Tina, Milaje, Ga, Nachis, Tidiori, Tina, Tundula, Ningu, Narasuin, Yawala, Sadam. He Idala Tekum, Titenanjing, Lamayina, Tapsu, Tini, Hala, Chipodungu, Tuma, Kashi, Layun, Jewa Lenson, Jewa Lemba Tamji, Yapo Yinayata, Tudu Dabo, the Zor, the Anansan, Yata, Sadi, Jewa Lenita, Chibu, Vinci Capsules, Love Capsules, Junta, King and Lavagan, Tini Metal, Tatambo Time, Levana, Shayakanagi, Tini. People, Yapo similar country, but the share. The way they are kind of what something yet in the half the chimney, she owns that Tamba something, method to do. Think can somebody do anything they give one would you have to get one years. Yidala, take on to one, Yidala, take on to one the country or Peshana, support the thought something. We got it in it. Tanda would trouble it. And then you would Janzo Chimbo Tuna, Kakumba Mata. In it, that today. Rhythm to Sena and Lamsa for Maya Balas of today.
Please do not think that it is some invention by people through the centuries that our actions do matter. The Buddha Shakyamuni described very precisely how each action has a particular result. And so did Padmasambhava and many other of the enlightened teachers. So trust that the law of karma is unfailing. The fourth reflection that Rinpoche requests us to pay special attention to is the suffering within all the states of samsara. That we now as human, we have the suffering of taking birth, which is very painful and difficult, of aging, falling sick, and then dying. And those are the four major problems of human life, but there are many others. And in the other of the 6 realms of samsara, the gods suffer from death and transmigration, the demigods from fighting and strife, and as mentioned, human beings suffer from birth, old age, sickness and death, animals from being mute, from being enslaved or eaten by others, the hungry ghosts suffer from hunger and thirst, and the beings reborn in hell suffer from heat and cold. And we may feel when we are reborn as a god that everything is wonderful, because our experience unfolds as being in a wonderful palace where sense pleasures, they appear immediately upon thinking of them. And everything seems just beautiful and wonderful and very enjoyable. And that's how it is until the last 7 God days, like 1 God week, which is quite a long time. There's an omen that shows in 1 week we will pass away and fall down below. And immediately the flowers, they wither, everything smells, and there's a very deep pain connected with having to fall downwards after being in the God realms. And for example, when we are reborn as a hungry ghost, nothing satisfies. Even when one drinks an ocean of water, one is still thirsty. When one succeeds in eating even as much as a mountain of food, one is still hungry. It is that kind of experience that unfolds. And so it is in the other of the 6 realms.
로도 남바시 감순 코르발로 마도나 담배 주양 담바제 주고요 말이인도 안경예가가 기와 메다파 레주리 코레이미 계시 코르발로 로도 베탑티실라 이네 수섬이야 보시니 텔라딱게 땅 딱티 로 마도나 담배 주도 삼마레 공화지 삼는 또 등에 받았으니 이 제도나 이 편마인 그레스.
So please pay special attention to the pain and suffering in each of the 6 realms, so we don't yearn in those directions. And that is how to turn our mind towards the Dharma. Because unless we turn our interest away from samsaric aims, it is impossible to practice the Dharma sincerely and in a genuine way. So, Rinpoche says again and again, please reflect upon these 4 mind changings, because that is how to make sure that we are actually able, Rinpoche said before, not just to know about the Dharma, but to be able to practice from our heart. So please do not ignore the 4 mind changings. Think about them again and again.
딱 간다 본도 휴원나 얘기 또디 이 당고티 로도 넘바시도 도dom이야 보지시 되네 리베이션도 되네 최대야 로도나 되네 배야 보이는 거요레스 다 마시체 넘바 탐제기 최대면은 너무 휴이기리 다 줘봐 너무 인바레 진줄 다 탐제기 넘바 탐제 조디 다 소소라나 성모탄나 semke niru tiya ko chonto phana bolari ti zo de test chino tamke gomte test yapchona pe me ya ko ngori ste ni kri chena ba tamje la semti ta de gomte de ame ina na nge test ti la me chilam da ta ta la me jupa ke rembe ki kana wa de tene ti ri tu ju shuin is ma to ni chena ba tamje la semti ti ni to ke ti ni ti 마음으로 tintin데 가면 기타는 기분이 되는 거. 그 바지. 지나고 라미 지나고.
Again, I feel that it would be very valuable for all of us, and I know that many of you for a long time, and I know many of you now are kind of senior practitioners, but still, please remind yourself of these 4 mind changings. They are very, very helpful in order to also practice. And so that was the major point I wanted to cover here today. Reflect on the 4 mind changings. And then we were able to also practice. So what kind of practice is it? The key, the heart of Dharma practice is, of course, to know the nature of this mind, of this consciousness, and then to train in that. I'm not going to be a pretentious Dharma master who acts like teaching Mahamudra or Dzogchen. Not at all. I don't have that pretentiousness. But still, I ask, so I'm not going to give guidance in mind nature or teach Dzogchen or the like. And yet, I have been given the command, the direct command from my masters, and so I'd like to share just a little bit of the blessings that I have received, and so you can take part of that in just a few words.
Takin rikpe toto shakpe kato ubo mebe tongo sambe zimba ma hyuse tse semje mo tonga yin takin rikpe to teni debe ke samlo mata maungpa ke samlo mata tata keji ke ripa ke tawe tolo shakpe kapsola kato ubo kian meba 동반이 임바지 동모 선배 짐바지 슈나 되게요 말이 짐바 마쇼베 갑솔라 티티 생기모 데네로티 중세지들이 모시 또고요리 티티 남샤주도 선배들 땅야고요리
I have received many times instructions on the nature of mind based on just 4 simple sentences by the great master Tsikey Rinpoche, and also several times from our Lord of Refuge, Tsikey Chokling Rinpoche. And I feel that these 4 lines are very helpful. Here they are. When you leave the watcher within their knowing, there is an openness free of color and substance. And as you no longer hold the idea, it is empty. That is the moment of seeing the nature of mind. In other words, you simply suspend this present attention without following thoughts of the past, without inviting any plan of the future, but in the present moment of awareness. Don't hang on to this either. Just see that it has no color, shape, or material substance. But don't hold on to that idea either, because the very moment you totally abandoned any such attachment to what and how it is, that is the moment that the nature of mind is seen.
다출들 한게 semla tebe metong ubo mebe ngala pöjiglus 다 빼샤나 셔보진데 때나 랑게 모통거래 됐나지 다출들 랑게 semla 출들 tebe metong ubo mebe ngala pöjiglus 근데 sem게 뭐 내로라 따베 깝솔라 동반예에 되요래 이 되는 증방 마셔나 근데 대체 sem게 뭐 다출도 랑게선다 대배 무슨 우보미 매뱅아 카도 우보 찌안해봐 동바에서는 zemba 마셔 가지고래 되니 대세 sem게 뭐지 뒤뒤니 통고요스 양측 숨나는 게 까나요리 뒤뒤다고 아 대답도 돼요리 뒤도섬하고 해보요리
There's another phrase, a piece of poetry that they taught, these great masters, which is look towards, look into your mind. When seeing that it has no substance or shape, let be, let loose, and be free in just that. And in other words, in this, when you have a mirror in front of you, of course you can look ahead and see your face, but instead your face is this way, so therefore look towards. And in the moment of looking towards, the nature of this mind is already shunyata. We don't need to make it emptiness, it's already emptiness. So simply notice that this absence of color and substance. And in this absence, relax completely. And the meaning of these 4 lines is pretty much exactly the same as the previous verse. And this is how it is. So be kind enough to remember these words and train in them. It will be very helpful.
이 단다 본주 교원나지 조티 소소랑게 삼로탄 이티데 테스테스 곰케 냠자 남도나 인페 팽이리스 단다 본주 교원나지 알라마 Mambukudu test topic, Tamna Mambona Sunu. Tangarazo Tambi Tsendela test Namnechenta, some year of Susan the Tampandu on the Tia took some year of Tikan, Yamaka Tango in the Tang Ketuna, Tikan, so the home they are good, the Japan, Message Penguins.
I know many of you have received a lot of teachings maybe from one master after the other, and that is wonderful. It is also wonderful when you also practice these teachings. So please pay special attention, and in particular, combine the practices with this knowing the nature of mind. So when you go through the mantra sequence, the preliminary practices, and also when you stay in retreat, trying to realize your yidam, one of the three roots, and chant the mantra recitation, approach, and accomplishment, and retreat. Then combine that with this style of meditation, which is actualizing, right? In actuality, seeing the nature of mind. Then you will have really good results. So please do so.
Hineta Hanto Nidi Yabujana Yabudu, Shamata the Pipashana Nidi, Pay, Tangun tea, so over the years and the tea can the vision. That's a motive. Lela, Tesumewata, the Mamuri, the teaching of Atila to some shade Yabuji, Kotuna, Yaburi, Karidalama, Mamutu to Sumum. That's all tea. 소소랑게 생게 내로티 야고지 모션잖아. 티 강라 로토나. 딱 3년도 그래. 근데 이담 도배래. 강한 제나야. 생게 내로티 야고지 절도잖아. 근데 때 펜바 야첨부 요소. 만나 시레디요리. 티 용거래. 근데 제나 마탐지게 대조 되균들을 냠내잖아. 좀 친구들 난. 소소랑게 지팅 코르바스게 개월된다지 지팅 거네 내가 뭔가 제고 요리 하고 다 사고를 통고를 강나대고를 무슨 뭐 땅고를 이나양 딱 나도 민공보다 가도 컴백 값을라 다 송백에 상하고 그 염내 근데 딱 공정해야 돼 이렇게 해야 돼 상하 띵이 남날 만들어가지고 주변도 되냐면야고 나서나 근데 펜바 야심을 용 그래서 간절해서는 다 간단 알아서 채대 간단 내가 값을라 가려요 말이 시간하고 냅잖아 다 만족 로켓한테 다 세미 모네로 모셔야다 다 자벨라마 대해 좀 하듯이 삼록해야 요 말이 이 대값을한테 나가 자벨라마 쌤 고려라서 숭배기 담아게 다 도전하고 냠내 단소한테 뒤도 선로탄 야다 대대지 송송 냠내 뒤에 리빠가는 다 대고요 대대지 따토나 되는 나라서 다 냠마다 땅나 기타 다 가야 용사 말에 가래서는 람마 당배기 숭배기 담아게 땅날 송송 송유 냠만이 대대니 대모라라다는 냠내진의 대발이 다 단다 값을 파고 채들 루데데 예고 요르마도 현감이 루데 예외 값을 다 자빌라미 숨베기 담마 랑게 생기 냠내 제베기 세무 인다 리파스 인리니데 출 세네 근데 소소랑게 삼로탄이 근데 리파나나 샤투나 근데 펜바 야치 모요레스
train in the mudra, the yidam practice, and combine that with the training, especially in equanimity. And here, equanimity refers to remaining evenly in knowing the nature of your mind. That is the heart of all the Buddha's teachings. But it needs some support in order to be stable. And that support is called shamatha and vipassana, stillness and insight. And stillness and insight are two aspects of practice as a basis that we need to pay special attention to. So please learn these and try to bring them into your practice, because then it becomes possible to progress in Rigpa also, not just to recognize. And the other practices as well, Mundro and Yidam practice, will make us really progress. That is how to embody all the levels of the Buddha's teachings in our own practice. I do know that, and I do accept that your lives are very busy. You need to eat, and you need to have clothes, a place to stay, and so forth. But isn't it also true that we do have some free moments in our lives? Use them to practice, to progress. That is really important. And especially in each session, bring in the knowing the nature of your mind and become more and more stable that way. Because there will come a time when we leave and enter. In other words, when we change body. In other words, we go out of this body and then into some new one. And usually that fills people with fear and worry. There's a lot of worry connected with dying. Strong fear. But for someone like you, as you become more and more familiar with the unity of yin and rigpa, basic space and knowing, the spacious knowing, then the fear will become less and less. And I can assure you that when the time comes to die, the stability in knowing this spacious nature of mind will be very, very helpful. So please don't forget this.
다시 숨백이 매나 쪼고 되래요. 그래서 다 나중에는 다 담마 민구라고 돼. 그 텔레 때니 디네야 람sam마 양투고요. 티티 쪼고 돼. 라메 숨바 담마테 춘도 삼마 마제바체 두교도테 장이 되나 빼고 있는 거리. 띵나라 근데 뭐 숨면 다 신들의 망고지 기도다. 동안다. 망고지 연구했대. 진조 탐제 삼모하고 막고 또 냠내 못해서 심중 못해와지 이제 민지 티치란 삼모하고 이제 땅 맞아봤지 숨어대 지나신게 티치 소소란 삼모하고 땅 돈나 내가 전부요리 간데에서는 심중 못해 깨받잠지 팬토고요 말이 뭐랑도도 다 찍도도 딩토도도 짜서 숨다고 해요. 생중 못돼 잡았던 팽기 말은 뭐랑도 다 찍도도 게 소소랑 게 망고지 섬었다니 들라 준비체 공망고 잡 냠냠 망고지 체 들라 태송가 더 빠지고 딩 토토도 짜서 야다 뭐마다메 숨게 당하데 나다 되는 숨딩이 셈을 때도 또서 단이 짠이 니마 되는 숨디다 나 짠이 태송가 더 쳐봐니 다 냠냠랑 따대나 미디바 가야 미디오 삼백에 섬나는 유용물이 모션인데 현산나 디디디니 소소라는 미디오 딩기 요차나 디디디니 따따 모션이 요리 디 야보지 삼로 동송 까나요 디나진이 제는 바삼로 뒤균도 땅통나 베베세 야보는 거 요리 인도가는 게 단다 본주쇼가 나지 쪼데 semmodia kusi ini gomdia kuja tikyudo kadi komnati semki neluke yabudes tilam samlapane detuna tene lama komatindu de dhamma sumana jinki tati soso rangi chumseki nyamne dingale detuna pe meseki ta chelap chibota tene ta yuden chibo dichi ni tunda demba sani chiga pardolaya ta tela hasiki ta lame dhamma tela hasiki samlo korea mewa ta te kapsula ta rdung gemba sum shoba ke rangi lamsang mo sheba tsamdiki wasal ke mo sheba naji ama ki ku mo sheba ku ama mo sheba naji wasal mo these sumore tina jingi te rangi mo shengore shen sona ngana so pheba jachibo yongore 다 조치는 거 최념내 제외 값을 공대하고 있다. 체를 당선다 체를 때문에도 메탈바리 때문에도 인공면도 뭔가 되고 이 념내의 양보지 나도나 이렇게 약보는 거예요.
When it comes to actually training in knowing the nature of mind, you only need to think of one other thing. That is your root guru, and every time you think of the root guru, receive the blessings, again acknowledge the nature of mind, and let be in that. That is very, very useful. So what I would like to say in addition to this is that it is not enough to recognize the nature of mind. It's not enough. We need to also be sure of it, to cut through the web of hesitation and doubt and uncertainty. So therefore, I know that you will meet other teachers. Receive again and again and again more teachings about the mind essence. It is the core of all the practices, or within all the practices. So while doing Dharma practice, also make room for recognizing the nature of this mind. And not only during sessions, but in every so often, no matter what you do, where you are, again and again, pay attention to what is the nature of this mind. And then just let be like that. That is how to become more and more stable. So first recognize. And it's 100% sure that that is not enough. We need to be certain of also. So to decide on one thing, that's it. And that comes through practicing. And after the deciding that this is it, this is really the nature of mind. And that comes through asking repeated questions when you meet the real Dharma masters. Ask them questions. How is this experience? What it is I experience now? Is it really like that? And be free of more and more uncertainty and vagueness about how this nature really is and how to be like that. And then at some point we arrive at what is called unshakable confidence. Unshakable confidence. And at that time, there is no longer any room for fear or worry about anything whatsoever. So we can pass away simply within that, within the state of naked knowing. And Rinpoche says he can assure you that you will be able to die very peacefully without any worry in the world about anything. So this is a very, very important point to remember and to keep at the core of your heart. It's the most important practice of all. And I have learned this from my own masters many, many times. And it is not enough to get teachings just once or twice. You need to learn more. You need to study more. And until you are completely free of doubt. And then at that moment, place more emphasis on experiencing and become stable in experiencing the nature of mind until you have unshakable confidence. That is so important. Stability, confidence are not just myths or stories from the past. I know many, many practitioners, normal people, who received teachings, practice Mundro, Yidam practice, trained in approach and accomplishment, and combined that with knowing the nature of this mind. And trained in that, not just a little bit, but made it the heart of their life. And were able to die without any attachment whatsoever, not holding on to anything. No fear, no worry whatsoever. And therefore their samadhi at the moment of death could be undisturbed, undistracted, lasting for several days, 3 days, 2 days, or half a day. This is not something that only you can read about in old stories. I've witnessed this many, many times. And we are of the same type of human beings as the other people Rinpoche has met. So please take this very personally. We can be like this as well. Not only those guys. We are also people. We can understand what's being said, and therefore we can apply what we understand. And so Rinpoche says, I feel this is a really good idea, that we take those teachings personally, apply them in our lives, make recognizing mind essence, and especially Guru Yoga. Just remembering the Guru, remember the key instruction, and then apply that key instruction. And we'll be able to pass away in a wonderful, fearless way. Please remember this. Apply yourself in this way, I have just mentioned, and you will have a very good journey from now onwards. And that is not the same as just collecting teachings and compiling days of practice and numbers of recitation, and then spinning a lot of ideas about what the nature of the mind is. That is not called progressing on the true path. What we should do is exactly what Rinpoche has said here, which is in a very genuine way from the heart. Learn the Dharma, practice it from the heart, and then we will have good results. But as a support, in order to be able to know the nature of this mind, we first have to find this mind, this thinking mind. Where is it? Does it come from anywhere? Does it go anywhere? And then spend time on researching and tracking down what is this mind. And once we find the mind, then look into its nature. Then we can become free of any doubt. And there is a moment at some point when we recognize exactly how this mind is. And that can be called a little realization, just a little bit. And that is also called the view. And it is the view that we can train in then in order to attain stability. So first recognize the view of mind essence. Then train in that and become and attain stability. This is what I would like to tell you is the key of the true path. So don't forget that. In short, look into the nature of this mind. Recognize it, and train in it, and you will have good results. It will go well. In short, that's it. We will meet again and again, and I will be happy to share more instructions with you in the future.